Welcome back to another episode of the Unapologetic Entrepreneur. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming back to you from a new location. How's everybody doing? Don't forget, in order for me to say hello to you, I have to see you in the comments. You're welcome to interrupt, ask questions. I will post them right here and we'll answer them. All right. Don't forget to scan up there in the corners. You'll notice there's a whole new different background. Scan right there. Like, share, and subscribe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you already know me, your host, Leonardo Garcia. Yes. And today, I want to talk about something. I've been thinking, this week, it's been quite enlightening. I had a few good interviews in the last month, but today specifically, we are going to talk about the playbook. 6 tricks designed to keep entrepreneurs broke. Now, I got to give credit to a book that I read every year. And see, one of the things that we do as entrepreneurs, what we should do is we should personally develop. And that's what we're going to cover today. Today, we're going to get into one of the most powerful, in my humble opinion, personal development books I have ever read. If you listen to half of the people that have come across this podcast, you'll notice that parts that you hear in this book, you've heard these exact words come out of their mouth. I'm just going to talk about the playbook, though. See, that book would be Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Now, I have a business partner that does reviews. That's not what I'm doing today. I'm going to give you the D. I told you, we're going to talk about D. What does that D stand for? Playbook to keep you entrepreneurs from being broke. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to break down the 6 tricks the devil uses to keep you from succeeding. That's right. I said the D word, the devil. It's okay. I ain't afraid of his name. All right. But before we go there, I want to start with something that every entrepreneur, every leader, and every business owner has to understand. Success starts with personal development. The biggest mistake that entrepreneurs can ever make is thinking that they need a better opportunity. That's where they get caught up. They get confused. The truth is, they need a better version of themselves, because the greatest investment you can ever make isn't in the stock market. It's not even in real estate or in crypto. It's not even in your own business. It's in you. One of my favorite lines that I ever heard in music is, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Take that one, bring it back, come rewind in your mind a few times and break it down. And you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's not about the business, it's you. You are the business. You need to personal develop in order to scale. Here's why that matters. Your business will never consistently outperform the person that's leading it. See, if you have weak principles, weak business, if you have weak leadership, you'll have a weak business. If you have a weak vision, you'll have a weak business.
It all traces back to you. That's the part that most people get backwards. See, success isn't something that you chase down and catch, it's something you attract by who you become. Just like everything else in life, I noticed. That's why I read personal development books. That's why I show up to events. That's what fills my tank. That's why you pay for mentorship. This is why proximity is important and you surround yourself around people who know how to push you. Remember what I said, they know how to push you. Okay? You got to let those people in order for them to know how to push you. Every level, every level ask people to become, to level up. If you watch some of the episodes in the past, I said new levels equals new devils. You have to really level up. You got to conquer those demons. You can't become, how do I say this one? You can't become who you're meant to be while you're still doing exactly the things you are doing in this moment right now. You have to walk in your future self. So I'm going to pose these three questions for you before I really begin. I want you to sit with these for 1 second. But before I do that, let's see who's in the chat. Hey, Alimnish, how you doing? Alemlem. I see some others. Remember, if you do not say hello, I can't say hi back. That's the only way I could put you up. And if you have any questions or comments while this is going on, feel free to speak. Can proximity alone, you didn't even let me start. All right, Brandon. Can proximity alone change your life? Or does there come a point where you have to build enough character, discipline, and value that you become the room people want proximity to? As a human being, I personally believe that eventually, if you stay in the room, regardless whether it's a good room or bad room, it's going to change you. You're going to adapt to the environment. You're a human being. The what I would tell you to do is make sure that you stay in the right rooms. You never heard that saying? My mom used to always say, if you have 5 broke friends, you'll be number 6. It's just going to happen. What's going on, coach? All right. What traits make someone attractive to opportunity, mentorship, and high level people? And what habits repel the very things people say they want? Bad habits. You're going to repel things that people, you're going to repel those that are high level thinkers if you're a low level thinker. Sometimes you just got to observe. Just sit in the room, observe, watch how people move, and you'll adapt to that environment. You'll start, even this question right here, if I would to if I was a betting man and I was able to take my DeLorean and go back in the past instead of saying back in the future. And I remember the first time I met you, sir, there's not a question you would have asked. You know why questions like this are being asked by you? Because you're in a room, you're in proximity of high order thinking individuals, which now makes you ask more intriguing questions. You're digging deeper. That's just proof right there that proximity is everything. Now, before you ask another question, turn this into a one on one, I see you. I'm going to go back to what I was talking about, right? I want to leave you guys with 3 questions to really think about. One, what books are you reading right now? If you're not reading anything, got to be careful. So, what books are you reading right now? Who are you becoming because of your daily habits? Who you're surrounding yourself around? What's happening? You got to really take self inventory. Every now and then, everyone has to look in the mirror. It's important to look in the mirror. And the honest one here, if your business never grew past your current level of personal development, would you be okay with that? If right now, wherever you at, personally developed at this very point, if you just didn't do anything else, would you be okay with where your business is at? I would love to hear your comments on that. I see you laughing, boy. That's one of the things I really want to uncover today in the playbook. And I'm going to talk to you about the things that hold people back. I mean, really think about it, because today isn't about making more money, it's about becoming more valuable. All right, let's talk about these six Napoleon Hill, what he said that's keeping people stuck. I like to say keeping you broke. And don't think entrepreneurs are safe from these. We get hit with these every single day. Let's expose them one by one. One of them, the first trick, we all fall accustomed to it: fear. See, the thing with fear is that the way the devil uses it is fear is the devil's favorite employee. It's killed more dreams than failure can ever kill. And it's very sneaky because it's always surrounds itself around your every thought. And it always sounds reasonable. You know, you ask yourself things of like, what if I fail? What if? Or what if they reject me? What if they laugh at me? What if I lose? This is one that I've gone through. Personally, what if I lose all the money? What if you embarrass yourself? Oh my God. See, it dresses up as logic, and that's why fear works. But here's what I've learned: every single breakthrough in my life, not just in business, in my life, showed up with some kind of fear attached to it. Starting with this business. See, I was in education, got 5 degrees, ran a school, was great as a teacher. And then the thing about a job is that it gives you that sense of security of every 2 weeks, you're going to get a paycheck. Most people are overworked and underpaid. But that security of that paycheck, woo, man, when I went into what we call in the entrepreneur world a 1099, the uncertainty brought nothing but fear. I didn't know where my life was going to go. What was I going to do? I was told, I started out just learning about the business, and I realized that consistency was going to be the key. See, successful people don't get rid of the fear, they move anyway. Courage never, courage was never the absence of fear. It's action in spite of fear. It all starts with action. So if you're starting your entrepreneurship right now and you have a lot of uncertainty, that's okay. I'm sure every entrepreneur you know has had the same uncertainty. What I would tell you is you should still be courageous enough to go against the fear. You have to beat fear. You have to turn around, look at it straight in the eyes, and say, you're not afraid. That's what successful people would do. So instead, ask yourself, what would I actually do today if fear wasn't was not one of the things making me make this decision? Ask yourself, what would you be doing right now if you just weren't afraid to take the next step in whatever you're doing? What does that look like? Hmm? For those note takers, here's number two. Here's a second trick in the playbook. See, if you know the tricks and if you know the rules of the game, now you can play. Here's the second one. And I know a lot of people are falling victim to this. You can lie if you want to, but it's procrastination. The devil doesn't need you to quit. No, that would be too easy. He just needs you to keep waiting. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it Monday. I'll start this uh, later. That procrastination is what he needs. Those words, tomorrow, next week, next month, these are the things that slow you down. These are the things that put brakes on your vehicle. And you all know we live by no all gas, no brakes. But those words right there, stop using them. Take them out your vocabulary. Now's the time. What if tomorrow never comes? Ever thought about that? Here's the thing winners understand that everyone else gets wrong. This is what I've noticed. They think clarity comes first and they'll act. This is what people think, right? When indeed it's the opposite. Action creates the clarity. Action creates the clarity. You're stuck because you're standing there waiting to see the whole staircase before you take your very first step. You're trying to eat a whole elephant in one bite. Take the first step, and then the next one, and then the next one. And each step will start to show itself more and more clear. Your future is being built by what you do today, not about what you're planning to do tomorrow. Procrastination will kill your dreams and kill your goals when it comes to entrepreneurship. And we fall victim to it all the time. Let me check what's going on in the chat before. All right, Brandon is back at it again. All right, Brandon. Looking back, what relationships or environments accelerated your growth the most? And what did you have to let go of to make room for the next version of yourself? A lot of anchors. I had to grow up. I had to stop using the excuses that I used to use. Excuses were, see, I always said that there's such thing as valid and then there's invalid excuses, right? But I had to let go of the excuses altogether. I had to become a little more selfish. I had to think a little bit more about myself and I had to get out of my environment. That's one of the things that I felt that held me back. I literally picked up and moved with half of a plan from New Jersey to Florida, not knowing what was going to come of it. Had to get out of the environment. There was way too much going on. I was able to find success where I was at in New Jersey, but I wasn't going to be able to scale there because there was just too much going on. I had to really remove myself from that environment and put myself in a whole different environment. I had to risk it all. And it's worked out in my favor, business and personal. So I would tell you to change your scenery. Um, really evaluate what's important to you, and change will come. I am not going to keep answering your question, man. I see what you're trying to do. Here's number three. Take some notes. All right. Here's number three. Trick number three the devil uses in his playbook. I know if coach is listening, he's going to like this one. Indecision. Indecision is very, very expensive. See, and most people never add up the bill. Every day you sit on one of those decisions you're going through in your mind, Opportunity just walks on by and it walks to the next person. See, an opportunity is not going to wait for you to pick it. It's going to it's going to present itself, and either you are or you're not. Here's one of the things. This happened in a real conversation I was having with someone. They ended up telling me, "I'm waiting for God to show me the door." And I said, "God shows you the doors. You still have to walk through them." See, man asked God for a table. He gave them wood. You already possess what you need inside to create the table, just like you possess what you need to make it through when you get through that door. The problem is you're not going through the door. You're looking for someone else to make the decision for you. That means you're just a slave to someone else's thoughts. Indecision is one of the devil's tricks. He uses that to rob you from your dreams, to rob you from your goals. Most importantly, to rob you from your purpose. Think about that one. See, when you don't take the opportunity, when opportunity walks away, momentum dies and your confidence takes a major hit. Your confidence takes a huge hit. The funny part is that most entrepreneurs already know what they need to do, they just haven't committed to it. People seem to be naturally afraid of commitment. That word, commitment, just hits people different. The best leaders aren't right all the time. As a matter of fact, they're far from it. They're not always right, but they decide, they adjust, they improve, and they keep moving without hesitation. See, Napoleon Hill put it this way: successful people decide fast and change slowly. Unsuccessful people decide slowly and change fast. Do I need to repeat that for you? Yeah, I think I do. I do. Successful people decide fast and change slowly, meaning they adjust. Unsuccessful people decide slowly and change fast. They don't even give the opportunity the time it needs. So, what decision have you been dodging? Maybe it's hiring somebody, a recruit that you've been thinking about, or if you're running a business and you're looking to hire someone, maybe it's firing someone, getting rid of someone. You're overthinking it. I think I'm looking in the mirror and talking to myself on that one. Really got to think about this. Or maybe it's launching that new system, or maybe it's even getting into recruiting, or finally ending that relationship that is draining you. Whatever it is that's on your mind, if you're tuned in right now, if you're watching this on the playback, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice that I'm probably going to receive a lot of fire for. Make a decision. Just decide. Trick number 4. Then I'll get back to your question. Doubt. The seed of doubt. Make sure there's no question here. The seed of doubt is one that lives in all of us. Okay? Doubt is one of the biggest dream killers. I was a negative Nancy. Woo-wee! I always doubted everything. That's why it took me so long to take the jump. I was always doubtful that it was going to work out, but that was because of my surroundings. Back to what I was talking to Brandon about. That was because I didn't see a lot of positivity. I wasn't around positive people. So what I saw to me became the norm. It was always an uphill battle. Changing the environment was very, very, very useful to deal with this doubt. See, you start thinking things like, you're not qualified. Some people say they're too old. We got people that say they're too young. Then you have, strangely, people that say things like, they're not smart enough. They're not connected enough. They don't know enough people. They're not experienced enough. It sounds like, to them, I guess, it sounds like it's intelligent. And it's the one thing that's robbing them every day. That doubt, that fear of failure, like they're never going to succeed. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Nobody starts confident. All entrepreneurs I know, don't have all the confidence in the world, but you got to start somewhere and you build on that confidence. See, confidence isn't something you're handed at the door. It's not like you sign a contract and they say, here's your pen, here's the key to your office, and here's a bottle of confidence. It doesn't work that way. Confidence is earned, it's built from step to step by making movements. Confidence comes with action, it shows up after the action, not before. You don't get confident and then move. You move and then confidence catches up. See, you have to believe in yourself long enough for the results to back you up. Let that marinate a minute. Think about it. Think about where you're standing, how you feel when you're talking about confidence. You got to stop waiting. Let me see. What you have for me? All right. I've seen people come years after breaking out of a relationship that they said the other party was causing. And later, after the damage is done, they realize they were at fault. How do you determine if you are the problem or is it the other person? Woo! Here's the truth. There's enough fault to go around. It's never pointing one direction. It's not person A or person B, because person A could have been provoked by person B and blah blah blah. It can go down a bad rabbit hole. There's enough blame to go around. The truth of the matter is, if there is a problem and it cannot be resolved, then you have to remove yourself. And at the end of the day, reflect and be a better person tomorrow. I don't think that this is a fault game. Quite honestly, I'll say it and I'm online. This is going to be a little personal, but I always give myself, I was married 17 years. And I could tell you I wasn't perfect. I was better than most that were around, especially. I wasn't perfect though. There was enough fault to go around. It just didn't work and there was no fixing it. I can always say what she did and what was her fault. And she could sit there and try to say and justify how everything was my fault. Truth of the matter is, it just didn't work. And I had to remove myself from the situation. And I had to learn from it so I could be better. It wasn't about her. Truth is, it was about me. I had to be a better person. And that's the only way I could be a better businessman. That's the only way I could be a better father. So I don't think it matters whose fault it is. I think that you just have to own up and look at yourself in the mirror and fix the problems in which you could have been better. That's it. So I don't know if you can say it's one person's problem or one person's the problem. I think there's always enough fault to go around because no one wakes up in the morning and says, today is the day, or wakes up and says out of nowhere, I'm a problem or she's a problem. These are little stones that turn into big boulders. And if they're not, if you don't fix the problem in your relationship as soon as you see it's becoming a problem, then it's going to become a bigger problem. So I hope that answers your question, but that's the only thing I got for you. Thank you, Marie. Keep asking. Limitless says confidence comes from doing it over and over and over again. Yes, repetition is the mother of all learning. Just we always say that. From someone trying to build a big, first of all, here's your first mistake, Brandon. Stop using trying. From someone for someone build a bigger life. What is the smallest first step they can take today that actually changes the trajectory? Start believing. See yourself as that you want to be in the future. Start believing. It starts with belief. I'm all about the faith. I'm all about the faith. If you start believing in yourself, those around you will start believing as well, feeding more into that seed of belief. And that seed of belief will start to grow, and you'll see the fruits of your labor. Oh, here we go. It doesn't get started till the questions come. What was, which was more important for you? Becoming a better businessman or becoming a better financial professional? Financial professional. I think better financial professionals were led into becoming a better businessman. I think I'm more of a financial professional than I am a businessman. That's why I seek mentorship for the business part. So that's easy. Well, that was easy, man. Didn't even need my sweat towel. Thank you for that one, coach. I think it's a financial. Once I understand something, one of my gifts is that I can now teach it in a simple manner where someone can understand something complex. So to me, that was more important because in the business I'm in is all about helping people understand. And a lot of people don't understand money, don't understand how it can change your life, don't understand the word leverage when it comes to money. So I think that led into becoming a better businessman to the point I'm still learning, and the learning never stops. Uh, or borrow the belief. There you go. They're answering. Uh, Eliminash is answering. She's piggybacking off of me. Or borrow the belief from somebody. That's what someone once told her. Yeah, borrowed belief. You got to know how to do that, though. But yeah, you got to borrow belief. Absolutely. Let's see. If you can go back to the version of yourself before the growth, before the success, before the proximity, what's the one thing you would tell yourself to start doing sooner? You know, a lot of people get asked this in different versions. I'm going to tell you the truth, Brandon. I think everything that I've gone through was necessary for me to become this person. If if I can go back to my younger self, what would I probably let me see. Hmm. Before the growth, what would I tell myself? Listen. I used to hear a lot, but I didn't listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening. See, here you can hear noise, you can hear everything in the background. I can hear people walking. But when I'm listening with intent. What's making that sound? What's the rhythm behind that? It's different. So I would probably be more intentful. That's probably what I would have done if I wanted to collapse the time. So I think that a lot of our youths, and I'll start with even all of anybody as a parent here, you know, I don't think our children, I'll speak for mine. I don't think that my son uses me as a cheat code. You understand? Like if I tell him don't touch that, I feel that he's still going to touch it because he wants to experience it, even though I told him touching that is going to cause him pain. I think that as a child, I wasn't really listening. I was hearing most of the time. So I would probably listen more. How do you attract leaders into your organization? Well, you got to be a bigger version of yourself. You really have to become what you're trying to attract. If you want a bigger leader, you have to become that. What do bigger leaders read? How do they walk? How do they talk? What do they learn? You're in the perfect platform for that because all you have to do is copy the right cat. So if you want to attract a leader, you must first become one. No one wants to be led by someone that's not a leader. So that's an easy one. I agree. My son has to see for himself. Thank you, Limitless. I am not alone. All right. I think I cleared up some of the questions. Man, keep them coming. Keep them coming. I got one more trick in the playbook. Hopefully, you're taking notes. Ready? Number 6. Here's number 6 for you. Let me go right here. We talked about this for so long in my organization, man. Man, I think we're going to have dissertations on this one. All right. Oh, wait, one more comment here. Jamie P. Give him a shout out. Focus on being a better you. We just heard that. You know, we talk about people in our organization. Just be focused on being a better version of yourself, and you'll see that that's exactly what you're going to attract. Good point. Thank you, Haitian, my 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 Haitian brother over there, Ezra, the Haitian sensation. Here we go. We're all going to have a dissertation on drifting. This is the most powerful thing he has in his arsenal, right? And it's one that a lot of people end up doing, especially with social media. It's not all about failure and defeat with drifting. See, drifting is living with no real purpose. Yeah, we drift. You know, we have what I like to call squirrel moments. But when you have no purpose, oh, that can be dangerous. See, it's reacting instead of leading. That's what happens with drifting. You're reacting instead of leading. It's being busy without being productive. Bring it back, come rewind. It's being busy without being productive. The hamster in a wheel. A lot of movement, but you ain't going nowhere. Moving without actually going anywhere. And I should say, and almost nobody fails in some big dramatic crash. It all happens slowly. You don't even notice it. By the time you look up and you figure out you were drifting, it's already too late. See, drifting happens quietly. One day turns into a week. The week becomes a month. The month becomes a year. And one morning you wake up wondering, where has all the time gone? For those of you that are entrepreneurs, think about it. You set off in January with all these great goals, you know? Or let's talk about people that join the gym. And little by little, everything ends. By the time you look up, you're like, wow, 3 years went by and I'm still in the same place I was 3 years ago. That's drifting. Happens so much. See, you can't afford to drift. because a business without vision eventually becomes a business without growth. You can't afford it monetarily, like your money. You can't afford it. If you drift long enough, you won't have a business. So be honest with yourself. Are you building on purpose or are you building to survive? Hmm. Think about that. Oh, let's see if we have anything in the comments. I think I saw something go off there. All right. Wow. There you go. All right. What did your daily life actually look like when everything started changing? What were the small actions that most people wouldn't realize mattered? My daily routine. So, my daily routine is what changed. For starters, I woke up earlier. No, 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 no. See, I know what you're thinking. Oh, especially you. I wake up early because I want to be on time for the. No, 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 no. I woke up earlier just to have time for myself. That little time for yourself, what they say usually 5 a.m., 6 a.m., before anything starts, it's for you to calibrate your mind to do things for you. I don't know if that's read. I don't know if that's exercise. I don't know what it is for you. For me, that time for myself is all about prayer, devotion, reading. I got certain tools that I read to myself. Depends what day of the week. I have them on my phone. Armor myself from what this world is going to or possibly can hit me with. Organize myself for what's to come. And then the day begins. So it's my morning routine, my nightly routines, my commitments to myself. It starts with that. Without that, mm-mm. It's chaos. I'm always chasing the clock. I don't know what's next. I forgot. I don't even have a to do list. It's preparation. You prepare before, not after. Oh, a lot of do a limnish. Oh, a lot of do that and don't even realize. Yeah, a lot of people do that and don't even realize it. We'll fix those little typos. That's all good. I love it. That's a hamster wheel moving nowhere. Let's see what other comments here. For people that don't know they are drifting, but outside can see that, how can one realize it? You know what? That's a great question. If you don't know you're drifting, how do you realize it? It's a great, great question. Here's your answer. I'm going to give you two versions. Now, one, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're surrounded by people. Hopefully, you're in the right surroundings. See, if I drift, I have several people that are going to kick me and wake me up. Now, if you don't have people around you the first time it hits, in my opinion, it's financially. You suddenly get a wake up call like, oh my God, I can't put gas in my car. What happened? There you go. You're drifting. And now, if you're watching and if you read, because we're putting it out there for anybody who decides to, if you guys share this and somebody else watches it and they're not listening to what I'm saying, they're hearing me, that's a problem they have. But once you know the rules to the game, you can now play the game. So you should stop right now and ask yourself, are you drifting? Look at your life. Do you have goals set? Are you taking those steps? Are you living in fear? Are you doubting yourself? Because all those things are going to lead you to drift. Take inventory. That's what I got to say to that. What's your recommendation to stop drifting once a person becomes aware of it and wants to be more focused? Well, that's if you want to be focused, you start taking the action plans to get focused. See, here's one of the things I'll tell you: seek mentorship. See, because when you're being mentored, especially when you, first of all, you get to pick your mentor. So you should know that they have your best interest in mind. So once you have a mentor, I think it's time to pick up the phone and have that conversation. But you got to be ready to be real with yourself. See, you know why people don't call them mentors? Because they're afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is something people don't like to really show. So I would tell you that once you know you're drifting, seek mentorship, create a blueprint, and start following it. Now, once you start following, how do you keep yourself on that? Accountability. Another curse word for unsuccessful entrepreneurs. They don't like accountability. Accountability. See, I had to, I was getting a phone call every day at 5 in the morning until I started waking up at 5 in the morning. Once I started waking up at 5 in the morning, the call stopped and my body regulated. That was part of the plan. I said, this is what I wanted. Mentorship heard me and forget about it. My phone was ringing at 5 in the morning. So your mentor will help you get there. You don't have to do it alone. Again, proximity is so important. You don't have to do this alone. Success leaves clues. You using my government name here. He said my whole name. Oh wow. Let's see what you got here. Let me go to Facebook because it doesn't all. Let me see. Leonardo. For the people working a full-time or part-time job while building their business after hours, what separates the people who eventually break through from the people who stay stuck in the cycle? And what mindset helped you keep showing up before you had results? Hmm. I'll start with your first question. They don't waste time. So you're working 9 to 5 at 5:30. They're working the business 5:30 to 9. Sometimes 5:30 to 11. Sometimes they're traveling to other states to make things happen. When you want something, you're going to go after it. You got to really want it. You can't be about the about to tribe. You got to want it. It's really that simple. Dig deep. If you want it, go get it. If you don't, then you're just acting. As far as for your second one, what mindset helped me? I refuse to fail. One of my biggest whys is to change the definition of my last name. It takes a lot of work. I want to be remembered. I just had this conversation with somebody and I said, when I pass away, that's when my brother would officially die because I'm the one that speaks of him. I'm the one that keeps his memory alive. My mom does as well. But if we go by the order of things, which don't always happen, obviously, in that story, my brother died first. My mom would probably leave before me. So when I go, very few will be talking about my brother. I got to create impact. I got to keep my last name going. I got to leave my fingerprint on this world. So I would say your why. Your why should be what you focus on, and that should create the mindset for you. Then you do what you have to do to keep moving. Hopefully that answers your question. Oh, we have a reply to Brandon. Oh, you guys could read that in the comments. Let's see, is there any other question before I finish off my last thoughts here? Maria, I hope I answered your question. Feel free to put it in the chat if I did. If not, if you need me to unpack that, feel free to put that down. All right. Let me go to my notes. And now I'm gonna give you a final thought. And then I'll go back to any final questions. But here's my final thought for you guys today. And it took me some time as I was reading this and rewriting and finally came out to this. The devil doesn't have to destroy your dream. He just has to distract you from it. He doesn't have to make you fail. He only has to make you hesitate. He doesn't have to stop your success. He just has to convince you that tomorrow is a better day to start. So I hope you guys listen to me, not hear me. Listen to me. Fear is going to come. Move away. Doubt is going to come. Believe anyway. Discouragement is going to come. Keep going. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't the ones who avoid resistance. They're the ones who refuse to surrender to it. So next time you think of that word devil, let's see if we have it here. Next time you think of that word devil, I want you to think of something. And then I'm going to put the rules again so you guys could write them down. I want you to defeat fear, execute daily, value your purpose, invest in growth, and lead with discipline. There you go. Devil. D, defeat fear. E, execute daily. V, value your purpose. I, invest in growth. And L, lead with discipline. Now, let me just put these rules up for you. Here's a trick from his playbook. Number 1 is fear. Number 2, procrastination. So if you're playing with any of these 6, you need to fix it quick. 3, if you're dealing with indecision. I'm not even just talking about business. I'm talking about even in life. Number 4, if you're dealing with doubt. Number 5, if you have any discouragement. And lastly, the favorite, if you are drifting. You need to wake up. See if there's anything else in the chat before I let you go. Oh, we got one more question. What distractions quietly steal the most potential from people? And how do you personally protect your attention and energy every day? Oh man, I'm careful about what I let in between the 6 inches between my ears. As far as what quietly steals, that's everybody's different. Man, for some people it's drugs, for some people it's going out, for some people it's TV, for some people it's the people they date. You got to take inventory, homie. Everybody got a different distraction. Everybody got a different one. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad I answered your question. Keep taking the gems. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Yes, like it. All right. So, with all that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of The Unapologetic Entrepreneur. If this one challenged you, share it. If you feel it's going to help you change, share it. Share it with another entrepreneur who needs to hear it. See, it's all about the mission over commission, purpose over popularity, and discipline over excuses. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to be here with you today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me. So with that being said, I like to say,